Welcome to Nach Simanim. I am Jacob Thomas, and today we will be learning Shmuel aleph perek chaf hey. This perek starts with David coming back to Naval, a man that he has helped for a long time to protect his sheep. And he comes in and asks, at the time of the shearing of the sheep, where Naval is making a big feast because he's excited because the shearing of the sheep is the time in which they would get lots of money. But during this time, he refuses David. During the time of the top of his wealth, he refuses to help the man who helped him so much and denies that he has any obligation to give to David. Now, this angers David greatly. So he takes 400 men and he vows that he will kill the entire house of Naval. And killing a man in this way could completely destroy David's rule. But because of his anger, he doesn't fully think straight. Now, Avigail hears this, and she's like, I have to fix this. So she brings in bread, she brings in food, she brings sheep, grain, raisins, figs, intercepts David, throws herself on the floor, and begs David for mercy, telling him, don't shed the innocent blood. And tells him that really David should be on a higher level and that he should build a future kingdom on righteousness and not death. David thanks her and says, whoa, if you wouldn't have done this, I would have just killed an innocent man. Thank you so much for stopping me. How in every anger, all we need is just a moment of clarity. A moment to step back, to breathe, and realize we probably shouldn't be doing this. And then when you have that moment, you can calm down and stop yourselves the second before you let your anger overcome you and do something that you will regret later. Now, David blesses Avigail for her act of wisdom. Then she returns and tells Naval. And when he hears this, he becomes like stone. And 10 days later, Hashem kills Naval, killing him without David even having to lift a finger, which is what David wanted already. But instead of his hand spilling the blood, it was God's punishment for Naval's Navalness, which literally means disgusting. Because Naval was disgusting, a despicable person. And after Naval dies, Avigail, who is a righteous woman, marries David. As a recap, we have the death of Shmuel, and we have the insults of Naval. We have David and his 400 men going to Naval, vowing destruction. We have the intervention of Avigail, who gives him food and stops the shed of blood. And we have the death of Naval and the marriage of David to Avigail. We are in perek 25, so just like Zichru, we use a 25th anniversary dinner. So here's with the simon. Avigail stops the angry David from popping the balloons at their 25th anniversary dinner. So Avigail stops the angry David. This reminds us how David was incredibly angry at Naval for not sparing even a little bit of his large abundance of food at the shearing of his sheep. And he comes to kill all of David's family, to pop the balloons at the anniversary dinner. But really at the festival that Naval was having, he wanted to kill the family of Naval. And the 25th anniversary dinner reminds us, we're in perek chaf, 25th anniversary dinner. But Avigail stops him. He comes down. He realizes that Avigail's right. He doesn't kill Naval. Naval then dies, and they get married. So then 25 years later, they can have a 25th anniversary dinner. One more time with the simon. Avigail stops David from popping the balloons at their 25th anniversary dinner. Now, we are going to do a 4 perek back chazar, starting with perek chaf aleph. David drives away from Nov in his car with the bread he got at the store. Perek chafei, we use a ka. And David ran away from Shmuel, Shaul Melech, who wanted to kill him. And he goes to Nov, picks up bread and the sword of Goliath. Doeg is there, sees this all happening. Then David leaves, leading us to perek chaf beis. David's followers get into a cab to depart Nov. This reminds us how David went to the Plishti city. He gathered a gaggle of people from all different walks of life. First, the people bring him to the king. He pretends to be crazy. They take him out. And Doeg HaAdomi tells King Shaul how they were conspiring with David. It's false. They didn't know that David was a fugitive. And Shaul then sends people, but only Doeg listens to then destroy the city of Nov. Perek chaf gimel, we use kugelach, which is a kids game, which is a game that kids play. So we use giant golden kugelach cubes because that's part of the game. David played kugelach to save the city of Keilah. This reminds us how the Plishtim were going to destroy the city of Keilah. David asked the Urim V'Tumim, should he save it? The Urim V'Tumim says yes, he does, and he saves the city even as a fugitive. And then he has to escape before Shaul gets him in the city. At the last moment, Shaul's called to other important matters. Now, perek chaf daled, we use a jug of water. Kad. David is about to kill Shaul, but instead spills a jug of water on him. This reminds us how it happened to be that Shaul was again going to attack David. While at night, David was able to get into the camp. Shaul was attacking David again. Shaul was very tired. He decided to take a nap happened to be in the cave that David and his men were in. He was asleep. He doesn't know that David was there. David goes with his knife and is in the proper position to kill the king, but decides to only take a garment and still feels bad that he took the garment from Shaul HaMelech. Now, a 9+1 question pop quiz. In which perek does Abigail intercept David with a feast? Perek chaf hei. In which perek does Shmuel pass away and Bnei Yisrael mourn his death? Perek chaf hei. In which perek does Hashem call young Shmuel at night? Perek gimel. In which perek do the Plishtim return the Aron on a cart? Perek vav. In which perek do we have Shaul's oath to forbid people from eating food? Perek yud daled. In which perek does Shaul cry? Does Shaul tear Shmuel's cloak, or Shmuel tear Shaul's cloak, and the kingdom of Shaul is lost? Perek tet vav. In which perek does David secretly anointed in Beit Lechem? Perek tet zayin. In which perek does David flee Gat and pretend to be insane? Perek chaf beis. In which perek does David confront Shaul outside a cave? David flees God in perek chaf aleph. And David confronts Shaul outside a cave in perek chaf daled. Shoftim bonus question. In which perek does Ehud assassinate Eglon, the king of Moab? Perek gimel. That is it for today. May we be zocha to finish all of Nach, one perek at a time, and remember it day after day. Have a wonderful day.